Okay, friends. So I am not sure exactly why this keeps getting shut down. I'm not sure if it's a specific unsupervised child who is reporting us, um, or if it's for some other reason. So what I've actually done is I've turned the comments off to see if that helps. So just for today, I'm going to have the comments off, and then I'm going to be troubleshooting, communicating with the other teachers about how they are delivering their lessons, and we will figure out if we can continue to use YouTube as our platform or if we are going to switch to something else like Zoom where this is not happening. But I'm sorry, I apologize for that. I don't know why that's happening, but I'm just going to deliver my lesson without the comments on for today, and hopefully that solves the issue. Then stay tuned for communication tomorrow related to how we will continue our lessons next week and if the schedule is going to stay the same, which it likely will not. So anyway, I am going to now just write our second rule for light travel. So let me see. I know that light does not travel curved or in a straight line because when I look at a shadow, I notice that the shadow is straight behind the object. So I'm going to write that light travels in a straight line until it hits an object. Period. Great. Now I'm going to put that right here for rule number 2. So now I would like everyone to now take 1 minute to add the word opaque into their glossary. We remember our word opaque from yesterday. It simply means that light cannot pass through that object. So please write opaque into your glossary, O-P-A-Q-U-E, and the definition of opaque is right here. It is not letting light pass through it or not transparent. Being opaque is the opposite of transparent. So I am going to give you just 2 minutes right now to copy down opaque into your glossary. If you finish early, I would like you to please give me some examples of opaque objects. So you can add, for example, Pi the alien, Miss Cat the human, and this jar of pencils, this inanimate object, are all opaque because light cannot pass through them and it creates a full shadow. I will give you 1 more minute to copy this down. Alexa, set a timer for 1 minute. Did she do it? No, I'm going to ask Siri then. Siri, set a timer for 1 minute.
I can't set the timer for a specific time. Should I set an alarm instead?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. I wish I had 12 hands. I'm not an octopus. Opaque. Not letting light pass through it. Not transparent. And again, if you finish early, please write.
I'm still not sure about that.
Oh my goodness. I can just estimate a minute in my head. Please write your examples. For example,
I understand.
oh my goodness. Siri, stop it. I'm trying to teach robots. Not letting light pass through it. Not transparent. I will give you 30 more seconds. 30, 29, 28. And remember, if you finish early, please give examples and then you can draw a picture. 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Beautiful. I will make sure that I email that definition to you as well if that was not enough time. Our second word is shadow. A shadow is the dark silhouette, and we will talk about what silhouette means, made when something blocks light from a light source like the sun, flashlight, or fire. And a silhouette, you may know from art class, just means the shape of an object. So it's the dark silhouettes. That means the shape of that object made when something blocks light from a light source. I think we will need about 4 minutes to copy that down because it is a longer one. So please put shadow into your glossary. Actually, just let me, without telling her. There we go. 3 minutes should be plenty. And to answer your questions, if you're in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, you are all expected to be here for this lesson, or if you are not physically here, you are expected to have the work for this lesson complete. The dark silhouettes made when something blocks light from a light source like the sun, flashlight, or fire. And let's say, and if you finish early, then you can draw a shadow, or you can give examples of shadows. You can say, for example, trees make shadows, and pencils make shadows, and all opaque objects make shadows. Ooh, you can even make that connection to our other word we just added to our glossary. And then please start to think, ooh, how am I going to use the word shadow and opaque in my conclusion today? In addition to using our new vocabulary words, I will expect you to use our previous vocabulary words. So you should be using the words light energy, reflect, and if you are in 5th grade, you should also be using the word photon. I am going to give you about 30 more seconds, and then if you miss any parts of the definition, when this goes up in a couple of hours, you can just go back and copy it down, or I will email it to you as well. And I hope everyone has the lesson plans that go along with this lesson to help you, because again, you can tune in for the videos, or you can simply complete the lessons on your own. All right. I hope that was enough time. So, let me see. Today, we will be writing our conclusions to answer the question, what happens when an object crosses the path of light? So let me see. Pi, maybe you can help me with this and help us figure out how we should be setting up our conclusions. So, I am going to set up my conclusions page right after I wrote data. Do you see that, Pi? Yes, and look at how neatly I set it up. Do you think that's going to really help the reader to understand what I'm thinking? Yes, me too. So what you're going to do is you are going to write the date in the upper left-hand corner. Today's date is 4/19/20. Hold on one second, my watch. Stop. Then I want everyone, even if you have not done this before, I want everyone to please write the word claim, underline it with a colon. Then you are going to start your claim by looking back at your question from yesterday. So, let me look back at the exact question from yesterday. Ooh, it was, what happens when an opaque object crosses the path of light? So I can restate that by saying, when an opaque object, using that vocabulary word, crosses the path of light, and then you are going to tell me what happens. Maybe you're going to tell me, ooh, that a shadow formed. Or maybe you even want to go into more detail about the darkness of that shadow when there is more sunlight or less sunlight hitting an opaque object. And please also remember that today for your claims, we are only writing about opaque objects. I know that we have been very curious in sharing observations about transparent objects, but today we are thinking about the shadows that form when light hits an opaque object. So I'm going to give you just a minute to write down your claim. If you are done writing down your claim, then you can please set up your space for evidence and reasoning with these sentence starters. So I want your paper to look exactly like mine. So please write evidence. If you take more space than this for your evidence, that's fine and that's great. So when you write reasoning, just maybe instead of putting it on this page, maybe put it halfway down, put it on the next page. You know how long you typically write about your evidence. So just give yourself as much space as you need, but I would not give yourself less space than here, because our writing goal for today is going to be ensuring that we are going back in our data and adding as much detail as possible about what we observed. So when you finish your claim, please write the word evidence with the words I know this because, and please set up a space for reasoning with the sentence starter, this happens because. All right, so Pi, what do you think that we should do when we are done with our claims? Oh, you're right. I agree. I think we should go back to our evidence from yesterday's experiment, or our data from yesterday's experiment, and say, oh, what did I observe? I observed that my feelings jar, when I shined a light directly on it, boop, boop, a shadow forms. Here we go. Whoa, look at that shadow, and it's in the silhouette of the object that I'm shining it on. So now, if you are done with your claim, I would like you to start writing detailed evidence. And what I'm actually probably going to do, since I cannot see your live comments today, is I'm going to explain everything. I'm going to end the video, and then you can just email me everything, and I will be giving you written feedback. And I again apologize that the comments are not working, and I am going to figure that out. So let's think about our evidence pack. So this is my first observation. So I can say, so for example, when I shined a bright light on my jar of pencils, right? When I shine my bright light on my jar of pencils, a shadow formed. Oh yeah, look at that shadow. And it's in the shape of the pencils. And ooh, and as I moved my light, the shadow, whoa, that's actually really cool. The shadow started to get smaller and shorter. And if I moved the light more to the side, the shadow increased in length. Maybe I even want to add that yesterday, when this was in the sunlight, the shadow actually appeared darker because the light source was brighter and had more light energy, right? More light energy. So there was more contrast between the shadow and the surface that was illuminated by the light. So if I'm done with this observation and explaining this observation, then I want to explain my other observations. So maybe I want to explain specifically what happens when I shined 2 flashlights onto my object, yeah? And maybe then I am going to explain what happened when I shined 5 flashlights. But you should be looking back in your data from yesterday. And then once I am done talking, I will let you do all of this, and you'll be able to replay this in a couple hours when it officially goes up. But after I finish recording, going to my first observation, I go to my second and third observation and describe that in detail. So I am actually going to read you my claim and evidence that I have already written. This is just an example, not even based off specifically what I observed yesterday, but an example of what you could write based on your observations. So, Miss Cat wrote, when an opaque object crosses the path of light, sounds good? Dark shadows form and take the shape of the object's silhouette. I know this because I conducted an investigation where I took 1 flashlight, then 2 flashlights, then 5 flashlights, and shined them on opaque objects that I found in my apartment. When I shined my flashlight on a vase of flowers in a brightly lit room, I saw a shadow appear in the exact shape of the vase of flowers. If I changed the position of the flashlight, the shadow started to move around the actual vase of flowers. when I took one flashlight in each hand and shined them at the vase from different directions, I saw two shadows appear on either side of the vase. Ooh, and I put an exclamation mark there in my writing to show that I'm excited because I've never seen something with two shadows before. Then I took 5 finger flashlights and put one on each finger. I turned them on and shined them into onto the vase of flowers, and the vase suddenly had 5 shadows on the same side of the vase, overlapping each other slightly. As I continued to shine my flashlight on different objects in my house, I noticed that the shadow always took the shape of the object I shined it on and was on the opposite side of the object than the light source. Today, it is very important to understand the relationship between where the light source is, where the object is, and where the shadow is. So in your evidence, please specifically describe where your light source was, where your object was, and where the shadow was. You can even go on and talk about how the shadow changed directions if the light source changed directions. Let me see. Now I'm almost done with my evidence. And then I provided an additional example because I want to be very clear so my reader understands exactly what I'm saying. So, for example, when I shined the flashlight on my cat's shadow appeared on the side of the floor opposite to the side I was shining my flashlight from. That is all of my evidence where I went through and I described 3 specific observations that I had and went into detail about all of those observations. If you are in 3rd grade, you are expected to compare and contrast minimum 2 observations to receive a 3. If you are in 4th or 5th grade, you are expected to compare and contrast at least 3 different observations. So you should be saying, first, I did this and this happened. Then I did this and this happened. If you're in 4th and 5th grade, you go on, you do it one more time. Then I did this and this happened. Please remember that to get a 3.5, you need to be impressing me by making it sound like your voice and using examples that I have not specifically said, so I know that you're really discovering and really being creative on your own. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information, but instead of me just waiting here, since I cannot see your comments and I cannot give you feedback for today, I'm going to go in and talk about what I expect you to have for your reasoning. Do you know what the reasoning part of our conclusions are, Pi? Oh, okay, yes, because you haven't been here for one of these lessons yet, have you? No, this is your first science experiment and your first conclusion. That's so exciting. I'm so excited. All right, anyway, so for our reasoning, Pi, we are explaining why that happened using what we understand about science. So this is the part where I should be looking at the words from my word wall, making sure I'm using all of the words from the word wall in my reasoning to explain my thinking scientifically. So we start again with a sentence starter. This happens because. So, Pi, why do you think that shadows form when light shines on an opaque object? Yes, so actually let's think about what opaque means. What does opaque mean? Oh, it means that light can't pass through it. So if light can't pass through something, why would it be creating a shadow? Oh, very interesting. So you're saying that if the light cannot go through my jar of pencils, all of that light is instead either being reflected off of the pencils or maybe it's even getting absorbed by the jar of pencils. Oh, but the dark shadow appears on the other side because there's no light energy hitting that side of the jar of pencils, is there? No, because the light cannot just go through, so it's going all around my jar of pencils, but it cannot go through my jar of pencils because it is opaque, and the definition of opaque is that light cannot pass through it. Does that make sense to you, Pi? Yes, oh my goodness, you're such a good scientist. How old are you? 3? You're only 3 years old, Pi? Oh my goodness, that's nuts. Well, you are doing a very good job for your first science experiment. Okay, so let me see. If I am then explaining my reasoning, I'm going to give you my example of my reasoning, and then I want you to be looking at your glossary, thinking about it deeply, and explaining why everything that you observed happens. So here is my reasoning. This happens because shadows are formed when the path of light is blocked by an object. Light travels in a straight line from its source. Ooh, I think that's important to mention, right? That light travels in a straight line. It doesn't go like, woo. It goes like, woo. Like that? Yes, that's important to mention. So light travels in a straight line from its source and bounces off whatever objects eventually blocks it. When I shined one flashlight on the vase of flowers, a shadow the same shape as the vase of flowers appeared on the opposite side of the vase than my flashlight because the flashlight is opaque and was blocking the light. This is why you observe a shadow in the shape of yourself on the ground in front of you on a sunny day. The light from the sun travels all the way to Earth until it hits you on the ground. Since you are closer to the sun than the ground is, the light bounces off you first, and the section of the sidewalk you are blocking will take the shape of your body. So it's basically just the area where light is no longer hitting, and that's why the light is going around and creating almost this like reverse image of it, right? That is so cool. Okay, let me see. I will continue to read my reasoning. I might have read this already, but I'm going to reread it to make sure I have everything. The light from the sun travels all the way to Earth until it hits you and the ground. Since you are closer to the sun than the ground is, the light bounces off of you first, and the section of the sidewalk you are blocking will take on the shape of your body. If you have two shadows, it is because there is more than one light source shining on you, and the light is getting blocked from more than one direction. This is why I observed two shadows when I was shining two flashlights on the vase from opposite directions. When I observed 5 shadows, it was because the light being blocked by the vase was traveling in a straight line from 5 slightly different directions. Now this is from the word wall. So now, final sentence I say in conclusion. Opaque objects block light and form shadows because light energy cannot travel through them. That about sums it up, right? Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for helping me, Pi. Oh, I know that you're just so excited to be helping all of the children. All right, friends. So, since I cannot see any of your comments and respond to you live today because that was not working for whatever reason, I am going to sign off now, give you time to write your claim, your evidence, your reasoning. I need you all to submit all of your work to me by Friday at the latest, so please send pictures of everything in your notebooks from both of our 2 experiments, and I will tell you what your grade is. I will give you some glows, some things that you did well, and I will give you some grows, things that you should focus on improving next week. Everyone should have this document that I have been reading off of. It was sent to all of the families. So also, if you need additional support and you want to see those conclusions I just read to you, you can go and access it in this document. Please email me if for whatever reason you do not have access to this document because it's very important to have. And then once again, for those of you who are not here at the beginning of class, please let me know how you think this week went. Please let me know if you like the lessons being live, if you like having the comments on, if you like YouTube as a specific interface, or if you would like the lessons to be more like this, where I cannot see your comments, and that way it is a little bit shorter. You can watch it in your own time, and then maybe instead I just go online for some office hours once a week, and at that time I can specifically respond to all of your feedback. I will let the other specials teachers know and your homeroom teachers know what you thought of my lessons this week, so that when we send out information to you tomorrow about how everything will be streamlined, we will be taking everything that you thought into consideration. Let's see. Pi, should we read one poem for all the children? I was going to read a poem to the children. Have you ever heard of Mr. Rogers? You've never heard of Mr. Rogers? Oh my goodness, Pi, you have so much culture to catch up on. Anyway, Mr. Rogers is a famous, beautiful educator, and I have this book filled with a bunch of poems that he wrote for children. Yes, isn't that nice? He really loves children a lot. So before I say goodbye and let you write your conclusions, I am going to read you one poem that I thought was relevant called I Love to Shine. So we all remember to shine even as our schedules change. I love to shine. I love to shine. I love to shine. So I let, I'm sorry, let me start over. I love to shine, I love to shine. I love to let what's in me shine outside. I love to shine, I love to shine. I love to let what's in me shine outside. The world needs all the light that we can muster, each moon and star and comet in the sky. We add to all the world our special luster, to shine on, friends, and never question why. We love to shine, we love to shine, we love to let what's in us shine outside. We love to let what's in us shine outside. Aw, that was a really nice poem from Mr. Rogers, wasn't it, Pi? Yeah, that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy, and I hope all the kids liked it. All right, friends. So, I will see you all next week, and please stay tuned for the STEM activity that you can do this weekend to extend your learning from this week. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Pi. Aw, that was so sweet. You gave a kiss. All right, bye.